we do. Through Liftoff Social, our aim is to enable founders to build meaningful connections and foster collaboration among startups, allowing each other to share knowledge, exchange ideas, explore potential synergies to accelerate your startup's growth. And as part of the 360-degree startup support that we are committed to at Liftoff, we're extending this invitation to selected startups only to be part of this Liftoff Social, which is an evolving and supportive community. While last few months there was peer learning or peer exchange on topics such as how to find a co-founder or on marketing strategies, and there was one classic give and take event. This month, Liftoff Social is focusing on another key challenge each startup faces, that is talent. Finding your A team, right? With uncertainties at early stage or MVP stage, finding the right people, engaging them, retaining them becomes very crucial. So here we are with a platform to facilitate exchange of knowledge and experiences amongst all of you. And today we have with us an expert, Mr. Surendra Verma, an accomplished human resources leader. He's with us to moderate the discussion today. A quick intro of Surendra. Surendra, with over 20 years of experience in human resources, helps organizations, large or small, build their talent and culture. He spent his first decade managing HR functions for growing corporate companies before founding two successful ventures of his own for the last 10 years, focusing on recruitment and HR solutions platform for startups and SMEs. As the founder of Hiring Link Talent Solutions. Is that right, Surendra?
Absolutely, Shruti.
Yeah. As a founder of Hiring Link Talent Solutions, Surendra partners with companies to identify and recruit skilled professionals to drive their successes. And his second company, Mgage, streamlines and strengthens HR operations for smaller organizations. And outside of his entrepreneurial journey, as well as his corporate journey, he's also a passionate endurance sports person who loves long distance running and has completed numerous marathons, half marathons, and ultra marathons across India. Thank you so much, Surendra, for joining us today and agreeing to moderate the discussion. Before I hand over the platform to you, a quick hygiene check. Please keep your videos on as this is a networking event. Please use the feature button to raise your hand for questions or before you speak, and be crisp and concise during discussions so that everybody gets a chance. So that's about it. I'm not going to take much of the founder's time here. We'll start with it. Over to you, Surendra.
Thank you, Shruti, for this wonderful introduction. I think let me take this forward. Good evening, everyone, and it is always a pleasure to connect with fellow founders on the other side. So I think the topic for today is pretty apt, and we cannot ignore this. We know that how important talent is for startups, and and as a founder, we all know that startup of small businesses. You know that how critical it is to retain top talent, okay, and the people that you bring initially in your company will play a huge role in terms of whether how your business is probably going to excel, whether it is going to excel or struggle, right? That's why probably today we are going to talk more in detail. So I think the format of this discussion is going to be where I'll probably put forward things where thought for food in terms of. We'll talk about what are the common mistakes primarily people make while hiring in startups. And so today we have a lot of founders who are going to share about their experiences, telling about what are the challenges that they had and how probably they are actually managing these challenges with their organizations. And I'll invite each one of them one by one, wherein they are going to share their experience and we're going to learn from their experiences from there. Shruti, can I share my screen?
Hold on, Surendra, let me check.
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Let me share my screen. So let me know once the screen is visible to you guys.
Yes, visible, Surendra.
Just a moment. Okay. Make it a full screen. Okay, so I'll quickly jump into the me working. I have experience of working with more than 500 startups and helping them to kind of not just managing their HR processes, but helping them to kind of recruit that A team initially, right? And with all my experience of these 20 years working with a lot of startup and mid-sized companies, where I've seen that there are common mistakes that people make while hiring initially people for their startups. So one of the very common mistakes is people hire so the one of the common mistake that a startup does is most of the people hire, but then they don't have a hiring process which is clearly defined. So when I say the process which is not defined in terms of not having the recruitment process in place, not defining clear these are
Recording in
some of the
progress.
common mistakes that we have come across that generally the startups make while recruiting people at initial phase of their business. So I was talking about a lot of people hire where there is no job description which is very clearly defined, or even there is a job description which is very generic in nature. So a lot of times we hire people based on the job description. And when we are hiring people, we really don't know in terms of what kind of problem that we want people to solve. And when we hire people with that unclarity of that what kind of problem these people are going to solve, it becomes a chaos later on, right? uh, and many times it happens that we hire so there are short-sighted recruitment which happens in terms of saying that the recruitment that I'm doing or the people that I'm hiring initially in my business, I have been hired primarily for solving my immediate needs, and not looking for someone who probably can be a long-term fit in my organization, and probably have a potential to grow as the organization grows along. Okay. So that's one of the mistakes that generally we do. And hiring, so a lot of people hire for skills and not for the culture fit. So we always say that we should hire people for attitude, and it has to be a right combination of mix, saying that we should focus on people who come with the right skill set, and at the same time the cultural fit. So for example, when you are hiring people for startup, we should know what kind of people will fit into a startup culture. So for example, if somebody is looking for a work-life balance, okay, I think startups are not the right platform for them, because we know that we need people who can primarily put in extra hours, people who are hustlers, who are looking to achieve something faster in a very short period of time. We need those kind of people who primarily come with that mindset, right? So if you hire someone who's kind of very limited in terms of looking for something which is a very work life balanced approach, I think they are not the right for fit for the startup culture. One of the common mistakes that I've seen that people hire, but they don't do the reference check, right? So later on, what happens? There are a lot of attrition which happens later on once you hire people. The reasons might be very, very different. So, for example, one of the common reasons that I come across is, people come join and they initially take a lot of leaves because they have a lot of health issues, right? So while hiring people, I have never checked and went back to their previous employer or check with them saying that what kind of punctuality or absenteeism history that an employee had. And if we do a proper reference check, we know what kind of people that we are hiring, so that we are pretty sure what kind of people that we are bringing in the organization, right? Yeah, and again, moving to the next is hiring friends and family. So I'm not saying it is bad to hire friends and family members initially in a business, but we should hire people who fit into the role and do justice to what we are looking them to solve the problem. And if they are family and friends, it is good, great, right? But hiring someone through a family and friends who is not fitting into the requirement is not the right approach, right? And after all, when we hire people, a lot of times we kind of not define the entire onboarding process. So now if the employee has a bad experience while onboarding with a startup, you may, because people tend to make decision initially when they work for you. Initial 1 or 2 months, they decide whether they want to continue working with you or not. And if you don't provide them the right experience, and if you don't have a right onboarding and induction process, you may tend to lose a good resource, right? And a lot of times we also observe that founders delegate this responsibility of hiring people initially in their business, so they depend a lot on the consultants and internal HR team to kind of do the job for them. So so ideally what happens in any startup that you go, one of the biggest KPI of any founder is to kind of ensure that they recruit the A team for their organization, and they need to spend at least 40 to 60% of their time in hiring right people, right? And one of the very common things that I've observed being on the table with them as a advisor or as a HR advisor with them is, a lot of times people hire people, and then they try to fit into the role because they don't have a clarity in terms of when they are hiring what kind of people and what kind of role and problem that they are primarily going to solve. So first they hire and then they try to fit into different roles, and that is primarily kind of create a chaos in the organization, and probably we end up losing a good talent, right? So with this primarily what I'll these are the common mistakes that I found probably a lot of startups makes while recruiting people for their startups. I'll probably stop my share here, and I think now the time is to kind of invite founders who are already present in the forum to kind of come and share their experiences in terms of what are the challenges that they were facing, and how did they kind of ensure that what kind of strategies that they implemented to get out of this particular thing. So let me first invite Mr. Rajesh Setia from Testpan India Private Limited. Do we have Mr. Rajesh here?
Yes, I'm there.
So Rajesh, I think welcome. First of all, let me welcome you, and thank you so much for coming today. And I would want you to kind of first talk about how important the talent is, primarily that you feel for setting up a startup team where we are building a team. So what kind of challenges that you are facing, and how exactly did you solve, and probably put some light on that so that people who are part of this particular forum would learn from the experience and the things that you have done, right?
Okay. So first of all, thank you to Vadhwani Lipkop for inviting me for this social get together. And I'll just give you a brief of what we do and what we are. So I'm a mechanical engineer with MBA background, almost 25 years of experience. and I'm
Right.
founder of TestPan, which is primarily it's a service provider, online aggregator, and a tech enabler to book and manage test centers and other ancillary services for the delivery of computer-based online exam across India and abroad. So
So,
I think anything, if you say a company, the next important thing is the team, which is most important in the startup. Let it be any product or service, unless until you have a committed, passionate, and right talent at right place for right time. I think to run the startup, sustain the startup, grow the startup, it becomes extremely difficult. So by virtue of situation, I got an opportunity in the sense, before I was doing a startup, I was running an ordinary partnership firm in which we had a team of 7 people. And
okay.
somehow, unfortunately, there was a breach of trust and the partnership firm broke. So the first thing when I learned about this thing, of the 7, when we openly gave them the invitation to come and join any of the 2 partners who have, broken because of whatever XYZ reasons. So of the 7, 6 were there who planned to join me. This is where I learned of what does the team means. If it is a normal situation, everything is fine. But if it is a hot situation, is one thing, how it matters. So they believed in me, and this is how the story for Testman began. Initial things were, we were with the impression that the talent can be created. Sometimes they say talent is born. So I was with the impression, because it's a startup, and the initial costs have to be kept as minimum as possible. So we thought, rather than going with the teams which are very highly valued and highly, uh, high pay packages are there, why not to have the teams which have the fire in the belly to grow and grow with the startup? Because a startup, when we start, it is not sure whether you're going to survive, sustain.
Correct.
So that was a key thing which was very important in my mind. And this is how we started a journey. And now from the team of 7, now we are a team of 35. This is how we have grown in last 6, 7 years. So it
Super,
was
super.
the important of the people to retain them, to have their loyalty, and to train them for our product and service.
Right.
Because it was a
Right.
startup initially. When we
Right.
reached the 3 years ahead, then we thought now we need a talent which will take it more refined way, all the activities of the company. So then we, having a loyal team initially, we had a parachute entry of, the talented people from the industry.
Right.
Lately, when we grew the team, we understood that it has to be automated as well. So we had, achieved all the process of, I was just going through the common mistake which the founder does. Yes, we have
Right.
done the mistakes. The points you have mentioned was very, very clearly, and it absolutely, connects to our decision as well. But today, the entire process is now automated.
Super, super. So I kind of wanted to understand. So you said the first 7 people that you brought in was primarily from the last organization that you were
Yeah,
working with, right?
yeah,
So I think since they believed in you, they knew the work style and they believed in your vision, that they joined you, right?
yeah.
Now, so I think that was said and done. But then now when you bring people, so for example, after that, when you're hiring or you're inducting someone, with an experience background, what challenges probably you faced in terms of inducting someone from outside, to a team which is very, very closely knitted, where you know each other for a pretty long time, right? Uh, did you face any challenges? What did you had any hurdles?
Yeah,
Uh,
there will always be a little bit reluctancy of the team which is old and the team
right,
which is talented and new. But
right,
this was very, very clearly mentioned, and we trained these old people. The loyalty is one of the things which we have honored initially, but it's also
right,
the talent. So slowly and steady, we had a bridging gap between the two. It was difficult. It's like a
right,
parachute
right,
entry. and the team which is already there in your system, from the older roots. But
Correct.
if you have concentration on the recruitment process and you are closely knitted initially in a startup when the teams and numbers are less, I think a founder can manage this pretty well. And so I'm not talking when the number becomes 255,000 or 10,000.
Right.
But if I
Correct.
say with my experience with my teams, with the numbers we are in with, we were able to manage that gap.
Super, super. And how much time generally do you think you're spending in terms of still today also? So now you're, from say 7 people to 35 people team. How much time do you spend in terms of recruitment or a talent acquisition today?
So if I say, I still try to play a predominant role while doing the final recruitment after the processes we have adopted through a HRMS management tool. Irrespective of that, that one-to-one interview, which I still believe is a key factor. And
Right.
the feedbacks from the teams and the team leads and the manager, from which the recruitment process has come to that level. That, okay, these are the one who have been finally shortlisted for this thing. So irrespective of whatever I am busy in, I play a role in that.
That's amazing. That's something which is pretty important, because see, I always believe the initial set of people that you put into the organization, right? The hiring process, the founder has to get involved, because you need to know what kind of people that you are bringing in, because they are the people who are going to primarily be either first line or second line of leadership. And if you bring right set of people at first and second line of your leadership, your most of the problem is sorted at that level itself.
Exactly.
Right? So that if you are able to kind of bring those A team at first and second line of so then probably your most of the jobs is being taken care, because you have people who would ensure that A team always attracts A team, right? So they will
Right.
always ensure that they bring A team in the organization, right?
Right. And the best example I can quote, during the pandemic, we did not have any single layoff or anybody left the
That's
organization.
amazing.
That's
Right.
what you win when you invest time in the recruitments.
Correct.
Otherwise,
Correct.
it is like, oh, I mean, something has gone wrong and, the handholding is going to be there or not. So we had a
Right.
zero layoff during that time. And we
Super.
never, fired anyone. That's what we believe, that it's ultimately the team which makes the organization.
Right. Super. So any last feedback or input that you want to give to the fellow founders that we have today, in terms of any advice that if you want to give to fellow founders, what would that
Yeah.
advice be when it comes to talent
So
acquisition?
initially, don't think that team selection is a very mechanical process. You really have the kind of passion and commitment you have for your product, service, and your startup. The same kind of commitment has to be shown while recruiting the team. Let it be the co-founder, let it be the CTO, let it be anyone. Unless
Right.
until you know them and you really focus on them, your base starts getting made here only. Otherwise, within a 6 months, you see there is a resentment, there is some difference of opinion, and the teams, starts getting shattered. So first
Right.
thing is, initially, you really have to be very, very conscious. It's like arranging a finance for the company.
Correct.
So,
Very true.
it's like, if the finance is important, the teams are important too well. And slowly, when you grow, I think the process has to be technically taken with the process tools like HR management systems are there, things like that are there. It is equally time, because the mechanical things gets cut off, and you
Correct.
really come to the cream of whatever people you recruit, a number of people or number of interviews you take most of the time. So from mechanical gut feeling as a finance to the automation, that's how the team should be
Amazing.
managed.
Amazing. I mean, thank you so much, Mr. Rajesh, for sharing your experience. I think I'm sure there was a lot of learning out of the experience that you shared. Thank you so much, and be with us. I think now the time is to kind of invite the next founder, Mr. Arul
Thank you.
Jairaj from Grid Digitech Private Limited. So guys, keep pouring your questions. I think we'll take the questions in at the end, because we want to kind of ensure that we first get these founders come and talk about their experiences, share what best thing that they are doing in terms of acquiring talent. So let's learn from their experiences, and primarily we'll take those questions at the end. Arul, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Hope
So thank you for joining in, Arul, and look forward to hear from your experience and challenges that you faced, and what are your perspective and on talent management, I mean talent acquisition.
Excellent. So, thank you, everyone. Nice to be here. So, I come with over 15 years of staffing and recruitment experience. I was previously based in Singapore. I've been running recruitment businesses all my life. So, last 3 years, I have been a serial entrepreneur with so many products. The top three are one of them is gridtalents.com, which is a staffing and recruitment firm. So since I come with a lot of experience, that has given me a good share of how the whole concept works, right? So basically in Grid, if I'm going to hire somebody, right, there will be an application form that they need to fill. In the application form, it will be one of the best in the industry, I would say. I can share it. So it will have a clear definition of what is expected and of the job and how they can excel in it. Very, very unique application form. Then they have to take a psychometric test. We call that as an Enneagram. Enneagram is a test which I did myself in 2000 actually. And I do it. And then all the result that we found in Enneagram will be shared with other colleagues. So everybody know what type of people they are. So it actually helps them to, in a business circle, it'll be easy for them to understand where they come from, what they do and all that. Then the third thing what we focus on is KPI and KRI. There is a clear job description. The job description could be running like 3 to 4
Recording in progress.
So the other observation could be like entrepreneur, or if you're hiring somebody, you've got to be a great storyteller. You are going to be talking only about this. All that I've shared you helps you to understand basically how they behave, and you will be able to work with them in other sense. And then lead with example, right? So I kind of know that in a market like this, being a leader, people are going to be watching you. So when you're saying that you're going to start the program at 5 o'clock, you better stick to that. And there are a lot of ways, that contributes to the growth of the organization. And also when you are looking at people, stay away from emotionally getting connected. Rather be meritorious and ambitious at the same time. You kind of give them what they need to and find the right partner. These will help you find the right partner, and how to give them a benefit. Reward them with stock options. You are hiring the best people. Tell them how their growth is going to be there in the bottom, and put it down.
So what you're saying is having a clear career development plan shared with them at the beginning itself, right? So let's talk about this. For example, you talked about lead from example, right? Now I also believe that the way founders can sell their startup, no one else can sell, right? So that is where we see that initial set of people that we hire in business. Founder has to spend a lot of time in terms of hiring right people, right? And ensuring that they have they have enough story around it to kind of, ensure they hire people who believe in what they believe in, right? Because unless that happens, the transaction is not going to happen and you are not going to get those people on board. So Arul, any specific example that you want to share? Since you come from a similar background, similar industry, any specific example that you want to share from any of your customers uh, where there was a challenge and probably you help them in terms of getting right people on board?
Oh yeah, I mean, I can. You go to my LinkedIn, you'll find over 15 to 20 recommendations. Right, there are a lot that I haven't displayed. So that's what I do all my life. So I look at work as life.
No, any specific example that you want to share?
Yeah, true. I mean, see, when you look at somebody, right, what you're talking about customer, how I do recruitment for others, or for myself. So if you're talking
Yeah,
about
for yourself, I think, from a founder's perspective, when you try to bring people in your organization, what all things and what are the skills that you primarily prioritize that, these are clearly if these are the bucket list and if people don't fall in these 3, 4 skill set, I'm not going to hire them.
So in our company, what we have done is every
Recording
right?
in
You are telling me
progress.
like Arul, I'll be working at 5 o'clock. I will never. But if you are not working at 5 o'clock, I know what to do, right? So we have a rigorous process of hiring. At the same time, we keep to our mouth. If we are going to tell something to them, we make sure that is delivered to them. It's not like I find that a lot of founders in today's world, they kind of promise a lot of things, but they don't execute it. Even I tell any of my employees that I'm going to give them 5% of stock options, I send them an email and then later on follow up with the signing it. So these are some of the things that I do.
Yeah, that's amazing, Arun. Thank you for sharing your experience, and I hope it was pretty useful. And thank you for being with us. I request you to be with us. Now the time is to cover the next founder, Mr. Suraj Biswas from OneOath. Do we have Suraj around?
Yeah, hi. Hi,
Hi, Suraj.
hi
Good
everyone.
evening.
Good evening.
How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm fine. A little bit typhoid. That's fine.
Acha, you're not well?
Yeah, I'm right now just recovering. Now fine.
Super, super. So
Oh,
would love to hear your experience, Suraj, and anything that you want to share or anything that you guys are doing special to
yes.
kind of get
Uh,
this talent on board. Yeah.
yes. So I'm the founder of OneOath. So what we are doing, we do the personalized assessment in terms of it is not a psychometric assessment or something generic assessment. We do assessment for class 5 to 12. So we have developed some patented assessment method, AI-based assessment, where we actually find out the academic traits. We don't judge a student by based on the whatever scores and performance. It's totally on the academic trait like logic, concentration, focus, cognitive skill, attention power, hardworking, etc. So we have pivoted 2 times before coming with the final versions. So we have started in 2020. We took 2 years to develop the product. And initial team was only 4 members from my college only. So I just passed out this year only. So the thing was in 2022 we have incorporated the company. After that, developing the tech, the product was ready in the sense of the MVP or the manual things were ready, but it is a technology company. AI should be enabled. So that time at the bootstrap company, we faced the problem that we don't have money. to hire the good people or good talent. So what we
Okay.
do, 100 plus, we hired 100 plus interns in backend, full stack, AI, and all. So other team
It
members.
means
So, but
100 plus, is it?
yes, yes. So it was very much pathetic for us to manage all these peoples and retaining or the work should be done. So after 3 4 months, I find out no, this is not a task of a interns or something. So I need to hire the people who are actually have the good experience and all. So, but I also don't have the money. So that was the problem statement. So what I can do at the same time, I'm also looking for CTO, but 3 4 months I'm trying for CTO and I'm not finding anyone. After 1 month or 15 days, I came to know that these peoples are not good fit for me. So that was a problem statement. So what I do, I hired the peoples like 15 plus peoples from all over the background, the data scientist, backend, React developer, Django developer, and I diluted the amount of the or the equity to the people like them. So right now, 2.5 CR payroll, I'm just managing without any salary. So I am giving them the ESOP or 1.5x of the salary. So that's how I'm just running this team and developing the product. Product is already 50% done. We are going to launch by 15th of December. Already we're doing it through some local system and all. But for me,
So
the
what you are
experience,
saying is rather than hiring them only as an employee, you kind of made them
yes,
partners in your organization.
right.
And that's what primarily worked for you.
Yes, so the CTO position also I have covered. So I'm just onboarding, just the finalizing the onboarding with the Capgemini CTO. So it's a big
Okay.
company, as you know. So he's also onboarding as a CTO advisor. I also onboard CTO advisor as a OOSBP technology. So
Mhm.
that's how I actually think that now the team is completed. So as the CTO's work role, I have assigned some data scientist and chief product officer, and also the architecture and the pipeline. The advisor are helping me with that,
Mhm.
and also the good connections and other industry connects. So
Got-
for me, it was like initial team. The problem was not only with the hiring, but also aligning with the vision. So that was the problem. So how we think and what is the expectation of the founder that should be matched with the team. So that's
Right.
why we have also the employees should match with the vision of the founder. So that is the little like struggling for us, but we are just
Mhm.
overcoming that also.
I think that's amazing, Suraj. I think I wanted to kind of understand. You said that you are just a pass out, right?
Yes.
And getting people who are very experienced, far more experienced than what you bring on table.
Yeah.
What kind of challenges did you face while talking to them, convincing them, getting
Yes.
them,
So
you
my
know?
core company is based on technology only, AI based. So I am not a tech founder or something. I completed my bachelor's in genetics. So the for me the problem was understanding all the tech stack, but I am good at logic. So whatever the automation part I have like completed through the interns only. So the logic
Hmm.
parts and all that's right now is fine, but I also learning at the same times. It should be always be a learner. Like whatever they are doing, whatever the things I have to follow up, I'm not able to understand, but that I put some extra time on understanding on these topics. So because I don't have a proper co-founder in the terms of like CTO or something, so I am also taking care of this. So that is the challenging part. I am also learning right now. Uh, that apart from the overall technology things, so in the depth, how it's working, how the LLM models work, so what is the fine tuning, everything, every words I'm learning right now, and then I go deep into
From to as
understanding
an
how this
employee,
actually works.
why don't you make them partners and get them as part of your journey? I think that's a wonderful takeaway.
Yes, and trust me that the dilution of the equity is not that much high. Also, what I'm just planning to dilute 8% to 10% per my CTO. Right now, it is working within 2 to 4%. I can compete my team with this 2.5 year like payroll.
Super.
So I can manage for next 5 to 6 months.
That's amazing, Suraj.
That's
Thank you. It was very founder, Mr. Akshat Chandra from Physics Living Private Limited. Uh, Akshat, are you there?
Hello,
Hello.
can you hear me?
Yes, Akshat, I can hear you. How are you doing?
And the problem that we're trying to country, there's millions and tons of waste, agricultural waste that is being generated throughout the country, and which leads to air pollution and leading to other health diseases for the farmers. And then all the plastic waste that is being generated, that is ending up in the landfills. So that is causing acute shortage of landfill sites, as well as it's eroding the soil. I mean, it's polluting the soil in a way. So to tackle these three problems, what we're trying to do is we're trying to develop a technology by utilizing agricultural waste and converting into products that are biodegradable and natural, and have it as a replacement for reusable plastics as well as glassware. So we come from a small town called Pilibhit. It's in UP. So we have about 10 lakh acres of land that is being cultivated under wheat and paddy. And our traditional business is in rice industry, rice milling, and wheat seeds and other agro-based industries. So that's where my father's background is, who's also part of this team. So
Right.
keeping that in mind, what we did is we tried to come up with a solution where we can utilize this agricultural waste and we can come up with products like I mentioned before. So we are almost a 2-year-old company. I'm a recent graduate about 4 years back. I'm a computer science graduate, and the team consists of 5 members, potential like four co-founders and one our mentor slash scientist. So four co-founders includes me, myself. Second is my father, who has a agro-business background and he's running industry for past 35, 40 years. So he's an MSc in chemistry. Number third is my brother, my elder brother. He's a MBA in international finance, and so he's not in the business, but he's working with Dentons, but he's also like one of the co-founders of the startup, as well as my sister-in-law. So to say, her name is Richa Punani, and she has a bachelor's in electronics background. And so to say, the team has a diverse background, and we have people ranging from different eras of life, so to say. And we have like 3 generations in one team. And then we have the fifth, the pillar of the team, who is Dr. Balakrishna Rajaji, who is our scientist, who has a PhD and MTech in biotechnology. So, so to say, the team is very diverse, and which is why we're still in the lab right now, but we will eventually be coming out with the products. So, yeah, so the whole point of this team is to keep the team as lean as possible, and try to be sustainable, not only in terms of business, but as well as the business team as a whole, because we're not spending much to keep ourselves alive in the team. So the startup is more sustainable right now, and that's something. I mean, if people could take away from this small startup.
So how did you convince to get these people on board?
We're family, and we have a similar vision, which is sustainability.
Okay. And do you, so I'm sure, I mean, since you come from a, so since you are from the same family, it was easy to convince, but do you see there are difference of opinions comes across, and sometimes it basically delays the overall process of decision making as well? Or it is kind of very smooth?
It's not very smooth, I'm not gonna lie. Because we come from a learned family, or educated family, so everybody has their own opinions, and we have to respect the opinions. And that's why things can take sometimes a lot of time, but we're not wasting time in anything, because every difference of opinions have to be tested in a different way. Because so far, what we've found out is that every opinion matters and has mattered till now, because each and everyone comes from a different generation as well as a different background. So they all come with a different background, and their opinions matter a lot. So yeah, it could delay a little bit, but it's not delaying as a whole, as a big picture, so to say.
Right. So I think having a different opinion is good and a healthy conversation, right? But what matters at the end of the day is if the roles are clearly defined, if the decision makings are clearly defined, it makes the job really easy for a startup. Otherwise, if the roles are not very clear, if it is overlapping, and if you're not clear who's going to take what decisions, is going to,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
make the life very, very tough
yeah,
for everyone,
yeah.
right?
You're right. You're right.
And
So,
that's where it is very important to kind of set up the right you know, expectation of the each role, and who's going to take what decisions has to be very, very clear, right?
mhm.
Because I've seen in most of the organizations that, you know, I advise, or you know, I have seen lot of things, you know, getting broken later on when there
Mhm.
is when there's no clarity about who's going to do what and what decisions is going to be taken by whom, right?
Mhm.
What are your thoughts on this?
So I do agree with you, but since we're a startup, we're at a very initial stage. We do not have dedicated parallels for everyone, but we do have, like sort of responsibilities. For example, I'm more of an operations guy. I'm more of an on-ground person. So most of the operations, day-to-day activities is something that is being carried out by me.
Right.
Documentations, everything that needs to be done on ground is being carried out by me. And then my
Mm.
brother is more of financial, so he's taking care of financials. My
So I
sister-in-law
think
is
more or
more
less what
focused.
you're saying is the responsibilities are
Yeah.
yeah,
It's very much identified. And
super,
so
super.
for example, my father has experience in all the categories. So if there is difference of opinions, we have the master who's sitting in the center, and we all, sort of, verify as to what
So
to take the way
right.
forward.
So there is an agreement at the end of the day. Like if there is
Yeah.
a different opinion, there is someone who's going to
Yes.
ensure that he's going to overrule everything, and everyone has
वैसे
to
वैसे
abide
तो
by the decision.
वैसे तो till now it's not happened, but
Right.
we have that in mind because we try to sort it out in ourselves in itself. But yeah, we know that our father is there because he has that experience in all the fields when it comes to talking to
Amazing.
farmers, talking about the business, talking about money, talking about the technology itself, because the technology that we're trying to utilize is going to be chemistry based. So
Correct.
little bits he has all experience in. So which is why we think that he's sort of a strategy advisor.
Super, super. Thank you so much, Akshat. I think it was really insightful.
Thank you for your time.
I think thanks for being here, and just be there. I think let's listen from
Yeah,
the other
I'm here.
founders. Yeah.
Sure.
So I think so now it's time to kind of invite the next founder, Mr. Rajat Pandi from Cooks and Chef Supplies Company. Rajat, good evening. Are you there?
Yeah, good evening. I'm very much here. Thank you very much for for giving me an opportunity to discuss with you people here.
Rajat.
I started this company, Cooks and Chefs, just a couple of months back, year ago probably. But I've been in the business for the last 47 years, 1978. So I ran a large industry where I was to manufacture. So there I used to have about 40,
Saying
50 staff.
47 years.
Yeah, I
Oh, that's
started
amazing.
78. Yeah, 78. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
45 years. But I got into the business
Nothing.
2 years before
So most of us probably might have not born then, the
that.
time that you are running an enterprise, right?
Yeah, and I must have employed more than 1,500, 1,700 people during this phase of my time in that period. But then that was an industry that was not a startup. It kept running on and on. The business was doing so good, so we kept on adding people in that period of time. But coming back to
Correct.
the startup business, which we are doing, we just started this thing up a couple of months back, and we are also into the recruitment side of providing staff to the hospitality industry. So we have a
Okay.
couple of people working with us, about 4 or 5 people working with us. And the challenges we face initially at this stage, like every startup, which I must emphasize, is to know your budget, to know where you're going to pay your next 3 to 4 months salary. Unless you work that out, at least to have a 6 month runway of
Correct.
being able to, you should know exactly how much you're going to hire, who you're going to hire, at what cost, what's going to be the nature of work he's going to do, and then at least calculate that if your monthly outflow is going to be 1 lakh rupees, you have got to ensure you have 5 or 6 lakh rupees in your bank so that you can pay the guys up and get efficiency out of them. And that's a limitation on us because we are looking for finances so that we are able to expand to about 8 or 10 or 15 people which I want to expand to. So right now I'm limited to I'm only this is पुरानी कहानी है कि जितनी चादर उतने पैर फैलाएंगे. We are not going
Correct.
beyond that. And whenever we get the finances, we'll go into the other thing. And the important thing about my staff, what I do with them is I don't interfere in their work the whole day. I just set, I like to just review their work in terms of the targets set to them. You know, this is the amount of targets, how many people we contacted this month. For example, today is 31st. I'm taking a report from my guys that in this month, how many candidates did we contact? How many agreed to come for an interview? How many didn't respond? So I just take the report finally, almost on a weekly basis. I get the report that we contacted 700 candidates this time because there were just so many jobs, and we got about 140 of them ready for an interview. 270 were not interested. So a couple of them
Right.
kept
So
it
you're saying
pending.
that you kind
So,
of keep a track of every process, which basically helps
yes,
you to
yes.
take right
We're
decisions,
a
right?
very small organization, so we have to maintain all that so that we know exactly where we stand at a particular moment of time. I mean, so we should know, because the challenges we face in our business is that people don't go for the interview. That's very,
Right.
I'm coming across this for the first time that we have about 200 people who say they're going for the interview and they confirm, yeah, sir, kal sumeh ja rahe hain," and they never end up. Only about 20% end of the day go for the interview. But anyway, it's an ongoing process for us. But I review the targets. I set the target. For example, this month we have set a target of hiring about 40 to 50 people. That
Okay.
there must be at least 40 to 50 recruitments done this month. Now let's see how
So
it
I
progresses
want to
over
kind
the
of
next
hire
month.
Mr. I mean, I have one question for you. For example, since you have so much of experience, running a business for 47 years now, especially when you kind of try to recruit these Gen Z people, okay, do you see a difference in approach in terms of hiring people, say 10 years back versus hiring people now, right? Uh, and what is
Uh,
that
not
primarily
really. They're
change
the
that you see?
same. No, they're different fields altogether. That was all into manufacturing and sales. Whereas this is a complete separate business where we are recruiting. So totally different. The kind of staff which we require now versus the staff which we required in the first time when we were running a business were completely different. That was purchase, sales, marketing, manufacturing, stuff like that. So this is
Okay,
completely on the other side where we are going to recruit people. So
right,
here we get good people. We don't need very highly experienced people. We need people who can speak properly and be
right.
in touch and are sincere about it. And importantly, I'll just give you an example. I'll just tell you when I finished when I shut down my factory during the COVID period. We had about 18 to 20 workers who'd been with me for about 30, 35 years. So
Okay.
that's the longevity with which they worked, and that's why I could run my business completely independently, and I wasn't worried. I knew what those guys were doing, and they knew what
And
they
and
were doing.
and and, and if I may ask you, what made them stay with you for so long?
Loyalty, looking after them very well. Being interactive with them, their families, being good to them, and of course, being more of a father figure to them than anything else.
Okay,
I think I
okay,
was more of
that's
a
amazing.
father figure because these guys were uneducated guys from people from Rajasthan, UP, Bihar, and all these places.
Okay,
So they have a lot of values. They have a lot of cultural values. So they
that's amazing.
always had a respect for it.
That's amazing.
And that
That's
respect was what
amazing.
mattered. And I ensured that I delivered back to them the respect which they needed to get and help them and their children, finding out about them, trying to help them, get them married, stuff like that, everything.
Mhm.
So it
Right,
was, we worked as a family together.
right.
That's important,
That's
that
amazing.
when you develop a culture over such a long time. And I
Mhm.
learned this from Tata. I really learned
Right.
this from Tata. I believe me, I was working for Taj Group. I mean, I tried to get some business from the Taj Group. So the director of procurement in Bombay, I was waiting for somebody. The director came and he asked, "Have you had guys at key? Have you had guys at key?" So I was waiting for about 1 hour. Then he told his people that, "Look, this gentleman who is here to sell to us is my business partner. He's
Correct.
not a vendor. He's not a vendor.
Absolutely.
He's a business partner. Please treat him like my family as you treat कि मेरे घर का कोई आदमी मुझे मिलने आया है इनको चाय पिलाइए इनको give them every facility they want and give them the
Correct.
right time. So that made me feel that the
Hmm.
Tatas look after even their vendors as part of the family.
That's
Even
amazing.
on their employees who they
Yeah.
look after very, very well. I learned from
Correct.
that one experience with the Tatas that this is what actually makes the companies grow to billions and billions of dollars. The
Correct.
loyalty factor and the love and respect which the Tatas give to everybody. And I
Right.
inculcated that values in
Correct.
my
I think
business.
the culture plays a big role, from so
Very,
it
very.
basically a founder's vision saying that you'll have to treat everyone as family. and give respect to everyone is primarily
And
what
you'll be
Tata believes
surprised to
in,
know,
So
you'll be surprised to know, I never encountered corruption, though all my procurement was cash. We used to
that's great.
purchase
That's great.
a couple of crores a year in cash. And we used to
Right.
have this guy, 12,000, 15,000 guy, and that fellow never used to make one rupee. And I could ask my vendors, I could do anything I want. These guys wouldn't eat money. The corruption was not there.
Right.
They were honest, straightforward, God-fearing guys.
Super.
That's
Super.
the
I
kind of
think
culture which we developed, and we never came across a corrupt guy in 37 years. Now that I'm surprised myself. तो
right.
कोई तो मिलता है जो पैसे खा रहा
Super.
है, पर मिला ही नहीं मुझे.
Correct. 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 Great insight, Mr. Rajat, from you. I think culture plays definitely a very
Culture
important
plays the
role to
most
shape
important part, and
Correct.
you have to create that culture
Super.
and maintain.
Thank you much. Thank you so much. I think coming from you, someone with 47 years experience into running an enterprise, holds a lot of importance. I think thank you so
Yes,
much
yes,
for sharing your
it teaches
experience with
us that
us.
we got to go according to the finances we have available with us. As and when we
Right.
have finances, 6 months runway, we'll hire more people. But until then, we'll do what we have. Setting
That's
moderate
amazing.
targets for high targets.
That's a great
Achievable
advice.
targets.
That's a great advice, Mr. Rajat.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing your experience. Be
My
with
pleasure.
us. I think it's time
My
for
pleasure.
us to invite our next founder, Chandrakant. Mr. Chandrakant from Gruel. Are you there, Mr. Chandrakant?
Yeah, hi guys.
Hi, good evening, Chandrakant. How are you doing?
Good evening, students. All good.
Super. Right. Looking forward to hear from you, Chandrakant, your experience. Yeah.
Hi guys, co-founder and CEO of Gruel. So just will give you a brief overview of what Gruel is. So basically, Gruel is a platform which connects designers to startups, businesses, SMEs, design agencies, or any of that sort. We deal in almost every design segment of the design industry. We have basically pool of talent from the top 3% of talent in India and across, and serve to globally right now. We are majorly focused on US, Europe, and GCC regions while building our platform. This is just a small thing which we are doing. Right now, in terms of hiring, we are a team of around 7 people right now. So very small team. Before this, I've worked in multiple positions in sales and marketing or heading communities. So there I've done more of hiring. But right now, it's just being in a small community. It's very different. The hiring structure is very different. When you're hiring more in a corporate structure, the strategy you play for sourcing the candidates are very different. The kind of match you want is very different. What the differentiation where comes in is as Surendra was telling, the responsibilities are not very clear. So many things are blurred in the lines. And sometimes it's not that we don't want it to be clear. It's just that even at a very early stage in a company which is of 1 month old, 2 months old, defining everything is harder for us also as the founders. That is where my co-founder Ajay comes into play and do those refining and defining where we need to find in. I majorly look more into the cultural fit rather than the highly skilled side. So basically, we do usually do 2 rounds where Ajay takes care of the skill set side, and I majorly take care of if the person can grow and achieve something in our company. So that's it. And also when we hire, we know for what duration we need this XYZ person for. If it is an intern, we need for 3 months. If it is a core member, we might need it for 5 to 7 years. So obviously more rounds and more time is spent depending upon the kind of candidate we are hiring or we want to bring into our team. Thirdly, we also work on smaller projects before going into full time, which helps us a lot. Maybe a freelance project, because we are a freelancing company. We like to data say, give them small projects so that they can work on. So understand what is their different approach for us. So this is a little bit about us, and
Okay.
I think this clears everything.
So, Chandrakant,
Yeah.
I have a question for you. So normally what happens is as in when you start, a business and when you try to hire the first employee, right?
So yeah, my hypothesis working in multiple startups has been a little different. We focus on generalists who can play out different roles. When it comes to tech, you need, obviously when you're building a tech product, you need one or two guys who are core tech, right? And they have to spend their whole day in tech. And for them, we don't want them to be very. We are okay if they have lesser side of communicative skills, low on maybe planning things. But for that, we have people who can define the projects, what has to be delivered when. But if their core skill set, which is to be utilized, is coding or tech building, so basically there are different positions, right? When you need someone in
Right.
sales, you will be going for more of a generalist who might not just be a closer. He should be able to understand a little bit about lead gen, might able to do prospecting, then do customer support. So basically, there are four. If you go into corporate, you have four different silos
roles,
running
yeah.
all together. Over here, we look for generalists who can understand the role and play on performance deliverables, so that I know this is my role. I know how to get this started, and how to finish this. So if you start something, you should be able to finish. That is the only thing I think we usually look at, while conveying what we can provide them in the journey. If it is 3 months, 1 year, 2 year, where they can reach, what they can understand, what is the possibility of Grul becoming later, how you can grow, right? If someone is even spending 3 months
Right.
with you, we believe that someone is spending a lot of time. Salaries and all are obviously, everyone is paying salary. How we can benefit that person, even if we grow or we not. Looking at a startup where things are very ambiguous. So about the success. So, but that person should succeed somehow in the career.
Super. Great insight, Chandrakant. I think thank you so much for sharing experience. I think be with us. I think we have next founder that I'm going to call CG George from Vaidura Manufacturing and Trading Industry. CG, are you around? Hello. Do we have CG around? Okay, I think CG, you there or? Okay, so let me invite Mr. Gopi Chand from Viroxon Private Limited. Gopi, are you around? Hello. Am I audible, guys?
Yeah, you're audible.
Yes, sir. Very good, sir.
Super. So do we have Manoj Kumar from Infinitude Space? Not? Praveen?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Manoj, are you Manoj?
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, Manoj. So I think thank you so much for joining in. Good evening, and we would like to hear your experience and put some light on the challenges in terms of hiring people and recruiting people, retaining them.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, Manoj.
One minute.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, if you don't turn on your video, it is okay. I think
Yeah, because little bit outside actually. So,
that's okay. Yeah. Manoj, we are looking to hear from you. Or if you want to take time, I can invite someone else next, and then later on, I can come back to you.
Hey, Surendra,
okay.
also taking
Yes.
a quick time check. I think we have about 20 more minutes, and maybe after this sharing,
Right.
we can, do an open
Yeah, I
discussion.
think once this is done, I think we can have question and answer, because I see there are a lot of questions around it. So let's take on those questions and ensure that we give value to people who are there to kind of, if they have questions, let's address them first. So I think we can, if Manoj, I think let's take on the
Okay,
questions.
no issue.
Shruti, can you help me with the questions that we already, because I think I've lost the track. There are so many questions around it. Would you kind of help me in terms
I think
of,
it's
or
the-
we can keep it open for people who wants to ask questions, they can raise their hands and we can take them one by one.
Absolutely. Over to you, founders. Please use the feature button if you have any questions to the larger audience or to some of the founders who just spoke, or even to Surendra itself. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah, Shruti, can I ask? Can I?
May I know who's speaking?
Yeah,
I can't
I
Satya.
think Sudeep is there.
Yes, Sudeep is there, and I guess Satya is also here. Go ahead, Satya.
Yeah, yeah, Surendra, like we do chocolates, I mean, on brand Lovely Chocos. I mean, so we have a like our recruitment, you know, to find a maker to prepare this chocolates, we need skill-based people. I mean, and it's been a
Right.
little bit problem. Why? Because it's a you know, craft which we started ourselves. I mean, it's not there before. So you know, to recruit, we're not sure where to, you know, find exact people where we can give training and recruit them. I mean.
Okay.
So why? Because if it's already a normal chocolate process, it's culinary schools are there, but our process is a little bit different. I mean, so when we adopt, we have to you know, give proper training to them and recruit them in. So when we got into the franchise business, Lovely Choco started franchising to homemakers. So that's where we
Okay.
a little bit struggling. Why? Because those people are not interested to take part the training directly in our location where we located in Hyderabad. So
Okay.
they're asking online.
Okay.
And online, it's a little bit tricky where we the whole process of training going online, it's only 70-30 success. I mean, yeah.
Okay. Okay. I think there are various things that you can do, Satya. One is, of course, you know, if you have multiple people in one city, okay,
Yeah.
you know, you'll have to kind of find out. So, for example, you are based out of Hyderabad and you have people from Chennai who are looking to kind of get trained.
Yeah.
And you have, say, 10, 12 people who are kind of looking to train. You can send your trainers there and probably get those people trained, right? Because I
Yeah.
understand, you know, chocolate making and these are skill jobs and it is very difficult to kind of teach them probably online.
Yeah.
But then see, over a period of time, there are a lot of technology tool also. So you can have a combination of tech plus an offline training mode. You know, provided that you have the right number of people available in that particular city or a state,
Yeah.
where it is feasible for you to kind of go and set up the training and get people trained
Okay.
on. Okay. Or one of the, you know, one of the very important things that, you know, I've suggested to a lot of people is, you know, you have a lot of people who primarily are, you know, so there are courses that they take up as a chef or say bakers,
Yes.
right? Where you can have your own course that you can design and, you know, work with some training institute so that, you know, you kind of tap those talents early and work with these institutes to kind of impart the kind of training that you want, you know, and then you can kind of get those skilled ready from those institute, and then you are ready to kind of deploy them at your place.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
You know, these are the couple of options that you can try in terms of and depending upon your business and, you know, how feasible it is. I think these are a couple of options that probably you should try to kind of ensure that you get those skilled people that you are looking for your business.
Yeah, and also if I connect with you know, the skill-based trainings provided by the government, will the government institute will consider my whatever we making the crafted chocolates? Will they accept? I mean,
See, if
so
you are able to generate employment out of it, right?
yeah.
See, ultimately, whatever programs that the government, so there's this National Skill Development Program,
Yeah.
you know, authority is there, right? And if
Yeah.
any skill that you are imparting to anyone,
Yeah.
if they are able to generate, you know, job out of it, I think,
Yeah.
of course, they will. So I don't know how easy it is, but then probably, I don't think so it is impossible. You know,
Yeah.
primarily you probably can definitely create a program around it, and if you're able
Yeah.
to create good jobs
Yeah.
around it, I think government will definitely
Yeah.
support
Sorry.
this.
Do you have any contacts? I mean, to approach those people? I mean,
I have couple of people who, you know, you can I'll probably share my number here on the chat.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and then you can primarily connect me back, you know,
Sure.
and I can share you
Definitely.
these things.
Sure. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
So that's a valuable information. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Satya. We
Yeah.
have Sudeep. Hey, everyone. It doesn't have to be just questions. If you'd like to share your experiences from your journey, you can
Absolutely.
come forward as well. Over to you, Sudeep.
Hi team. I'm Sudeep. I'm the founder of Newbies, and we are based out of Gurgaon. And we actually try to connect pregnant and post-pregnant women to doctors and other professionals. So we're in job for the last 3 months now. So very early stage in the startup. So I think Surendra, I have two questions primarily for you. So one was when you discussed about the skills and culture fit. So we have found on ground a problem because because we're a health tech company, so we had a lot of people like nurses and health professionals. When we found a skill fit, we couldn't find a culture fit. When we found a culture fit, we couldn't find a skill fit. So it is actually not very, very difficult, especially when you are cash and time constrained because we are a bootstrap company. So it is mainly run by me and my partner. So getting a right person, especially for soft sectors like health tech, it is a challenge, I think, in India. It is mainly because of lack of communication skills at a very basic level of the Indian workers. There are problems. And when it comes to communication in healthcare, you understand it has to be absolutely proper. And we have a zero mistake strategy. And actually training them took a lot of time from us. And the problem was that once we trained them, there was an attrition because people actually ran away. So now we have started doing the contracts, but then I understand it's a very bad way of doing things, but then there was no other option. Because when we train people with our expertise, and then they actually went to some other hospital with a higher salary because they got the training. So I think that was a very, very basic problem that we faced. I would love to have your take from this side. Thank you.
So what you're saying is absolutely right, Sudeep. It's not easy to kind of find that mix of getting people who are skilled as well as culturally fit. Initially when you're bootstrapped, right, you really have a lot of constraint in terms of your budget, your number of people that you can kind of afford to hire. You need people who can probably do multitasking because you don't have really a big pocket to kind of accommodate, different people for different roles, right? But then, yeah, see, that is where the challenge lies, and you need to ensure that you get those right people. See, I mean, it's not that those are people who are not available, but I think finding them where you would get them is one thing, and second is how are you going to ensure that they join your what is going to be your strategy in terms of attracting them to join your organization. So you have to have that see the way you do kind of elevator pitch for your prospective investors. You'll have to have this elevator pitch ready for people whom you are going to hire, who are going to kind of decide the success of your business, right? So I think that matters in terms of and then probably initially when you don't get a right combination, you'll have to kind of, and you can't delay the process for a pretty long, right? So even if you're hiring someone for skill, that these are the people that I'm hiring, but they are not a long-term players, right? So you'll have to take those decisions. You can't keep delaying those process of looking for the best fit and not getting for 6 months, because which is ultimately going to hamper your business and growth, right? So with a lot of permutation combination, you try to hire best people, but if you're not getting, I think you need to decide which is the skill or which is the skill that I want to compromise currently. And then later on, once we grow to that level, probably we kind of want to have best of both, right? So there's no right answer, but it primarily depends on what is the emergency that you have at your business level and how critical those people and skill and a combination is for you, right? But to be honest, you can't delay those decisions pretty long, right? Because you'll have to kind of have people in teams so that you kind of get those things done, roll out and move forward. And you need to decide what is important for you at this moment, right? So something which you feel that is not working out in long term, then you will get very, very short term in terms of what is going to work for me in next 3 months. And if you feel that this particular person can solve my first 3 months problem, get them, hire them, and then have keep thinking about the backups and things like that in backend is what I would advise. That is how ideally primarily things should happen.
Thank you.
Does it make sense, Sudeep?
Yeah, absolutely does. And it was lovely to get insight. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Mayur?
Hi,
Hi, Mayur.
hi everyone. Unlike everyone's very specific questions, I come at a very crossroad where I'm about to start an online marketplace. It's very specific to the automotive aftermarket, and
Okay.
my only hurdle is how to set up. I know you just mentioned that you should not wait for a perfect team, but as a partner and we are just right now a two-member team, and how to bring the next first, I would say, colleague in the team and ensure that these are those baby but so important steps that we should not be faltering at, and how to ensure that for every department we need someone so that we are able to grow, sustain ourselves, and able to scale up in the future. Where to start, how to go about it, I'm totally clueless on this one. So I know it may sound.
Right. So, no, I understand. See, I mean, it's not you who been in this dilemma. A lot of people are, right, and most of us probably would be in dilemma when we start something of this sort, right? So what I always do it probably, I always found people who are like-minded and things like what I think. I always found them into networking and startup forums, because see, when somebody who's interested in startup, okay, would always hang out in the forum where startup comes and meets, So I always ensure that I be part of initially when I was also building, right. I always look for people who are passionate about starting something of their own, right. And I think someone Suraj mentioned that he hired a lot of people initially, not as an employee, but making them as partners, right. So and it all depends upon primarily what kind of business model you are into and how much primarily because see, initially when you hire somebody with an employee mindset, that's very, very different than somebody who has a skin in the game. Okay. So that I always suggest, in terms of you said you already have a co-founder, right?
Yes. Yes, I do.
And you're looking to kind of hire the first employee, right?
Yes, right.
Right. So two things. One, of course, somebody who's passionate about what you are doing in terms of creating an aftermarket automotive e-commerce platform. Somebody who comes from a similar background, who is again passionate about building something of this sort, would primarily kind of help, or someone who is very, very passionate about startups. Okay. Either of these particular two things, when you drill down, would primarily help you to figure out the right person and then go at it.
Okay.
Does that primarily kind of answer or kind of gives the solution to what you're looking at, or
it gives a headway?
Still hazy?
I know. I think it just gives a headway towards how to approach it, I guess.
Yeah. Correct. So yeah, I mean, I'm here to kind of just to help you to give you approach. I think I probably you are the best person to kind of, because you know what business you are into and how do you want to run it and what kind of people that you want to kind of get on board, right? So you will be the best judge. But then probably there are a couple of strategies that I talked about to take up. You probably can try and see how best you can utilize this to get.
Yeah, I made a note of that. Right.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayur. Aurobindo from Z-Ray Mobility.
Hello.
Hi, Aurobindo. Yeah.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi.
So basically, we are a EV ecosystem startup where we are providing EV charging stations for the public usage, as well as we are providing e-scooters on rental. So the kind of customers that we are approaching is that more into B2B only. So right now we are having certain requirements for delivery persons, that to female delivery persons in different geographies. So we are wondering like from where we should tap those kind of requirements, because the numbers are very huge. Although let's say
Right.
I'm based at Delhi NCR, so we are looking for 50 candidates for Noida and Ghaziabad location, and for Lucknow location we are looking for around 30. So that's how like they're supposed
And
to
these are people
deliver.
who are delivery people, right?
Delivery people, yeah. Say
Right.
so they are going to deliver grocery, food, or anything, just like for Zomato or
Right.
Swiggy, or yeah, any e-commerce company. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
So can you just help
So
me
I
out
think,
with the
yeah, yeah.
strategies?
So there are already also correct. So there are already gig workers who are primarily so there are a lot of hyper local delivery companies or hyper local delivery logistic companies who are already deploying these kind of skill sets, which is already there. Have you tried kind of tapping any specific company where so you need to study. So for example, what I used to do in what we used to, for example, when we did a lot of hiring for Swiggy as well, right? So when we started doing Swiggy, what we did is primarily tapping local companies in that particular segment, okay, studying deep about them, their structures, their benefits that they offer, okay, and then building a strategy around it, and offering something which is better than what their current companies were offering, okay, and coming up with, so for example, Swiggy, though they have a lot of gig workers, but then these people also offer them employee insurance. So these people are primarily are earn around 10 to 12,000 15,000 rupees by doing deliveries every month, right? And on
Right.
top of it, if a company provides them a medical insurance, which is hardly say couple of say 5,000-6,000 rupees a cost yearly, okay, that was an additional boost because probably they themselves cannot afford these kind of facilities to be given.
Agreed.
Even if you are say somebody who is not full time but a gig worker, you pay them only on the delivery basis, okay. That really worked well, okay. So I think you'll have to kind of, so there are one way where, probably one is there are already big players, there are local players around the location that you talked about. Study that local market. Who are the people who are actually having those kind of fleet and people on the ground? Tap them, understand things in detail, and then target them. Because your numbers are decent.
Right. See,
You
the
are
issue is
able to
that
hire 50.
deadlines are also there. It's not like that it's an open requirement. The deadlines are also there. Like, let's say I'm looking for 50 candidate for Noida, Ghaziabad location, means I need to deploy them within a week or something like that. Within a month or
Right.
something like that. Right. So like
So I
handling
think
those
then you need to
deadlines,
also,
those are issues. Yeah.
yeah. So you need to also have recruitment partners that you need to identify who are expert in kind of arranging these kind of numbers for you and deploying them. And one of the areas that you should look upon is primarily outsourcing this to some vendor who probably can initially deploy these people on their payroll and work for you.
I had incorporated a few outsourcing agencies, but still I'm not getting those numbers. So it has been 3 months now. So I a
Okay.
little bit
So
worried
what are
about.
the challenges, to be specific? If you have, what if you
Aravindo,
can
can
tell?
I interrupt and can I connect you with
Yeah.
Surendra on a
Sure.
one-on-one?
Sure.
Just
Yeah.
being mindful of the time, we have few more questions to go.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Sorry to bother you. Yeah. Thank you.
Praveen, and please limit your questions to only one, given we have few minutes to end the discussion.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi, Praveen.
Sudeep, yeah, hi. Well, first of all, I'm a big fan of you now. Ek jhatke mein bhi you made me open my camera. So I do not have a question in specific as such, but more of a request to the group. And if anyone can help me find a CTO based out of Hyderabad. I'm a tech startup working on the space of AI and ML, specifically working on the pharma side of the industry. That's it. Thank you, guys. Have a good evening.
Thanks, Praveen.
So
If
Praveen, you have my LinkedIn ID and number, right? If you can share the JD, probably I can help you connect with few people.
Sure, sir. I'll do that.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Great. And if anybody has leads for Praveen, you can always get in touch with me or him directly. Zahir.
Surinder sir. This is really a nice
Hi,
session.
Mujahid.
What we are doing.
Thank you so much,
Surinder sir,
sir.
in short, to tell you what exactly the startup space at early stage, right? As we are the small company or we are at the early stage, so experienced candidates, they actually hesitate to join you, and also the early stage startups will be having a less salary paying capacity, right? So in here, generally with this problem, and while you, as you are also not so much experienced to hire, like how to judge the person while recruiting, because in single interview of half an hour, let's say, you cannot just judge them well. That is, this is he is the right person for me, because at 15 minutes you get so many things to hear from the candidate, but when you onboard and when you start working, then you understand that is what he claimed and what he said is not the right. So this is what my experience is, and my question to you is, like, what is the right time to hire HR executive in your company?
Right. So I think very, very good question, Zahir. I think so one of the first question that you asked, saying that when you try to hire experienced folks, especially when you are a startup, okay. Now a lot of times the problem is not that the experienced folks don't want to join startups, okay, but okay, because the way you judge them during the interviews, they also judge you. In terms of how do you treat them, what kind of experience, the infrastructure that you have, right? During the offer letter process, what kind of offer letter that you're sending, whether the offer letter also has a salary structure detail defined or not. So all those things, because see, they are the experienced folks. It is important. It is very easy to kind of get junior people on board, because they don't have experience. They don't have anything to compare in past what they had an experience with, right? But when you try to hire experienced folks, they judge you at every point, and when they find that you are not as organized as what they would like to be, they decide not to join you. Okay. Now second part, in terms of the question, I think I kind of
less salary paying
again.
capacity, sir.
Sorry,
less salary paying capacity, so we cannot hire the best one.
Correct. So then, somebody, covered this very, really well, that, probably initially when you are not able to pay them well, how do you kind of create a combination of, say, ESOP or offering them something other, which is not in terms of hard cash, but something which is primarily is something which they can think of, and they can probably have it in a long way. And somebody who's primarily looking to work for you long way, is you have to build the things around that. It's a combination of things that you'll have to kind of build it and be creative in terms of how you can make that package lucrative for people that you are offering. Right.
Sir,
so
we're talking about ESOPs.
Rihanna,
sir,
I'm going to
interrupting
interrupt. Rihanna, we're allowing only one question per founder. So I'll have to cut you off. Sorry for that. And I'll put you in touch with Surendra.
Sure.
Muzahir, are you there? Do you question?
Yes, ma'am, I'm there.
Yeah, Mujahid, hi, we can hear you.
Hi, Suren sir. So basically, what Rihanna asked, I'm also like having some similar question, like what she asked you, like she's having some question regarding like a less salary pay and HR executive. So I'm also looking for some related answer.
Right. So I think the right time to hire HR executive, initially when you are initially founders have time, not money, right? So they end up managing everything on their own. Now, beyond the point, when you have 8-10 people, it becomes very difficult, because as a founder, you already have a lot of things in place. Initially, even if you hire someone in-house, what happens is your pocket is not that deep where you will be able to hire someone dedicated, or even if you hire someone dedicated, they will not have that skill to kind of get things done for you, because they are someone who will be doer. They'll do what you tell them to do. And problem is that you are not an HR expert, and the person that you are hiring is also not an HR expert. So the amount of money and the time that you're going to invest, I would suggest till the time you are 30 people, always look for a partner who can actually partner initially in your journey, who can actually help you, sell through that particular phase. And when you primarily are at a stage where you are able to afford a experienced HR folks, then only you should hire HR in-house. Otherwise, try and work with people who can actually initially support you in your journey by being your extended HR partner. So that is what exactly we do at Engage. Probably if you go through Engage website, you'll get to know that how do we kind of help these startups navigate through that initial phase of their employee life cycle, and we become their partner to manage their entire HR problems, and we allow them to focus on running their business, right? So I think I think the answer to your question is till the time you are 30 to 40 people organization, do not look to hire somebody in-house, because till that time you don't have a pocket to kind of hire a decent HR folk.
Sure, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll go with one last question from Shilpa. Question or anything you would like to share, Shilpa?
Yeah. Hi, Shruti. Thank you so much. Wonderful session, getting to know the other people in the cohort also. So thank you so much for all the introductions. I don't have a question specifically, but I just want to mention that I'm a psychologist and the founder of Swime Analytics Private Limited. We are a psychometric assessment platform, and our knowledge system is based on the Vedic, tradition. But we don't talk about it in India because, anything related to Vedic and Indian knowledge system is taboo as yet. Having said that, we are already live on Government of Karnataka's KSDC Skill Connect platform, and we are working with them to provide psychometric assessment for job aspirants. I would love to collaborate with you, Surendra sir, and see if there's any way that I can, collaborate with you and the other people in the call.
Let's connect.
And I would be sorry.
I'm saying let's connect. I would love to connect.
Sure. Thank you so much. And as my offering to the community, I would love to offer a good discount of 10% if anybody is interested in taking our tests. And we help with culture, fit, value fit, ensuring, get the right candidate for the right job and so on and so forth. So happy to take this forward with the network. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Shilpa. I think we have Kumar who is sending a message. Kumar, do you have a question? We'll make an exception for you. You've got 1 minute.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. My name is Kumar, and I'm working on Partner. I definitely would love to collaborate with Shilpa. So we are looking at something like that to help, to help job aspirants, or even at an Engage, we are trying to look at to do some psychometric tests. So my question is like, I'm trying to get a partner or a technical co-founder from who is international. So what are the do's and don'ts that I have to take care while engaging with someone from other geography? So that I hope, I just want to know what are the do's and don'ts I should take care before I take that consideration to get someone on board who is an international and who is working from other geography. Thank you.
Yeah, so Kumar, I think hiring somebody from a different geography has a lot of legal aspect of it, and probably you'll have to kind of, and it depends which geography, which nationality that you're hiring for, right? I mean, you will have to kind of have some legal opinion around it in terms of, because you have a company which is registered in India, right? Or you probably want to open up something which is outside.
The thing is like we are a company called Partner. We are trying to impart the practical experiences to the student community.
I understand. So your company is registered in India, or you kind of have a company registered outside India?
My company is registered in India, but we are trying, like the person who wants to be our co-founder or partner is like, he's working from Israel and he's a Russian. So he wants me as his CEO. But I'm very focused on my thing, and we both can collaborate and do something bigger for the whole of the world. So I just want to know, how I can partner with him, and it will definitely empower both of us. It's a win-win strategy for us. It's only that we are looking at the other possibilities.
Correct. So I think it is in geographies. Only thing is, you need to know the legal aspect of it. Okay, what is going to be the format, what is going to be the engagement model, and everything. I think rather than me, I think somebody who's legally qualified to kind of advise you in terms of what kind of arrangement or what model will work for you guys would primarily be much better than I advising you. How you should take it forward.
The thing is like he will take one aspect, one
Kumar,
vertical.
I'm going to interrupt you here. This seems like this can be a long conversation and might need some expertise also. I'd suggest you get in touch with your cohort program manager and ask them for a mentor connect or an expert connect for this.
Shruti, maybe I could
Thank you,
try
Shruti.
answer.
Thank you so
Okay.
much.
So guys, we're almost 10 minutes past the allotted time. We do understand that a lot of you have questions and a lot of you would like to share, but we'll have to respect everybody's time and we'll have to close the session on time. Before you all leave, may I request everyone to once again switch on your camera so we can take some screen grabs before we leave. Satya is getting ready. The cameras. Thanks,
Yeah,
Kumar.
thank you.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure being here. Thank
Hey,
you.
smile while some of us are trying to take screen grabs. Just a second, one more. Great. Thanks once again. Thanks to the community for sitting through 1 hour 40 minutes to listen to one another, to learn from one another. This is the spirit that we get to experience every once a month as part of Lift of Social. And I'd like to take a minute to thank Surendra for your time and for your expertise and for patiently answering everyone's question.
Recording in
Great to
progress.
have. So I think we had 80 odd founders joining in today, and interacting with them and sharing the words of wisdom and learning from their experience was a great insight. I think some of the takeaways that probably I have seen, is one of the guy who, Rajesh, initially when he talked about, getting those people along whom you have worked in past is primarily equally important to build that, initial team. And one share that was there from Suraj saying that rather than hiring people as an employee, hire them as a partner, make them part of the business, have their skin in the business so that they also work, as founders or part of the team, and probably there you will be able to kind of scale things faster. And I think hearing from Mr. Rajat, someone who's been into running an enterprise for more than 47 years, and listening from him talking about culture, and culture plays a very, very important aspect while building team, building organizations. It's like, so there's a saying that, probably businesses make people or people make businesses is what primarily you'll have to decide at the end of the day. And it was a wonderful experience to kind of moderate this session. Shruti, thank you once again for giving this opportunity, and I had a wonderful time. I hope everyone on the call had a good time to kind of listen to each other and learn from each other's experience. I think looking forward to more such interactions in future. That's it from my end, and wishing everyone a wonderful week ahead. That's what I can say.
Thank you, Sunil. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Linda. Thanks, everyone. Have a
Thank
great
you,
evening.
everyone.
Thank you, team. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Take care.
Thank you, everyone. Take care. Bye.